for the delay, dear ones. Going live on Instagram. Sorry for the delay. I was on a client call and it went a little bit over, but I am here with you now. I'm happy to be here with you all. Sometimes unexpected things happen. So as a coach, I serve clients and I like to make myself available to them. Hello, welcome to another self-love sermon. How are we doing? Once you're here, let me know. Welcome, welcome, another Tuesday night. How are you feeling, dear ones? How are you doing? Here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, the light is starting to wane outside my window as the wheel turns from summer to fall. And I am in my inner fall as well. Day 37 of my cycle, definitely late, and feeling that void energy, feeling a bit depleted. 'Tis the season for lots of oil massages and baths and embodiment, slowing down. We talked a lot about the yin, feminine energy last week and the importance of soothing ourselves and stepping off the patriarchal pace of things, the inner capitalistic treadmill, if you will. And I'll tell you, even as a business owner, even as someone who left that game to carve my own space in the world, to carve my own routines, my own energy habits and patterns in my work, to really copy paste my own values into my business, I struggle. I'm here admitting I struggle with internal capitalism still. Hi, Claire Bear, welcome. Sorry for the late start. Just explaining that I'm feeling a bit low energy, and so I was like, well, I don't really feel like teaching tonight. Let's do a workshop. Because facilitating and playing and cultivating and weaving community with you all and playing with art supplies feels a lot more in integrity with my energy right now. Feels a lot more in alignment with my heart. You don't need to go crazy on the art supplies. I mean, I've got my coloring pencils. Just grab some paper, really, is what you need. If you have scissors, that'd be great. I'm just going to fold and tear because I didn't grab my scissors. And the focus of tonight's talk is going to be design your self-love dates. So self-love dates are a staple around here. I like to talk about my favorite ways to self-care, my favorite dates that I've designed, but then I'd like us all to create our own based on something called our core desired feelings, which I'm also just excited to talk about core desired feelings tonight. But first, to check in, and I don't know who's joining, but if you can drop your name, let us know you're with us. How are you feeling in your body tonight? And how is your mind making sense of how you're feeling in your body tonight? So I explained to you that I'm feeling low energy, and the way my mind was able to make sense of it was to say, well, you're not teaching, you're gonna lead a workshop. So how is your body feeling at a minimum? And then if you want to take it further, how is your mind relating to that body information? Because so often we think of our thoughts being manifest in our body or having a nervous system reaction, but we don't think about the other direction. We don't think about how in our mind we create thought and we create and cling to thought patterns to make sense of how the body's feeling. And we can be very judgmental, very resistant, very critical, or we can be accepting and compassionate. So that would be my check-in. Whether you're here with us live or on the recording, watching the replay, if you have a candle, I invite you to grab that and some fire-making implement. I have a match here. I swear I light so many candles for these things, and it makes my heart so happy. It just feels good to play with fire. So lighting the candle for myself and for you, dear one. As long as we are here for this hour, may we be loving ourselves, relating to ourselves with gentleness. May we be courageous and vulnerable and open to what we have to learn. And so it is. Lovely. Just a reminder, if you wish, you can go to luminousleanings.com/make-a-donation to create an energetic exchange with me. If you get something out of this sermon, if you got something from the replay or the podcast, and you would like to contribute to my work, I really appreciate this. I rely on this income as a self-love coach. And I'm hoping to build a grand vision someday of a self-love retreat. So every donation really does make a difference and helps me reach more people with this message of self-love. So thank you so much. There's also a place on my website under the menu, under events, to sign up for reminders for self-love sermons. So you don't miss one. And you can also share this video right now to encourage your Facebook friends or your Instagram friends to join us live. So I would greatly appreciate that. And let's begin with a little embodiment, a little mindfulness tonight. Now that the housekeeping is out of the way, just really coming into our body, just arriving. If you already considered the check-in, maybe you're already reflecting on how the body is doing. Taking some deep breaths in at your own pace. Can you get a sense of just your energy level? If the light is also beginning to wane outside your window, how is that affecting your energy? How does the breath affect your awareness? Maybe placing a hand on the body, heavy on the chest, to land you in this moment, here and now. An extension of compassion, meeting yourself where you are. There's no need to change. There's nothing to do. This all belongs. Can you soften against your hand? Soften the hand against the chest. This mutually softening connection between you and you. this meeting of your awareness with your acceptance, of your compassion with your suffering, your breath with your relaxation, a beautiful symbiosis, a whole universe contained right here in your field of awareness. Every sensation has a message. Become an ambassador to the country of your body. Become a translator of your own intuition. Become a negotiator with your mind, coaxing it to stillness. Take a deep breath in and sigh it out. Start to shake out the wrists, roll the neck, twist the spine in any way that feels good. Stretch up, side to side. Shake it all out. Shake the face out and the head out. Massage your jaw. Massage your forehead. Precious one. Say it aloud with me. Precious one. I'm a precious one. Remember this sensation. Remember your own power and ability to meet your needs and then some. Beautiful job, dear one. So what are self-love dates? Well, as you know, I'm a self-care coach, so I'm all about activities. Activity is like the Trojan horse of being. We have to kind of put the being, we have to wrap it up in a Trojan horse of activity and sneak it in. Because what I mean by that is we struggle as a culture, as a society, as a species to be, right? We would much rather do. We would much rather have a plan, an activity. I mean, even just a blank piece of paper and a pen. It's like, ooh, give me the tips. Give me the blueprint. I can't tell you how many times my clients say to me, just tell me what to do. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. But that's not how I coach. It comes from the client. It comes from your intuition. And yet, there are certain activities, rituals, routines, habits, things we can do with ourselves that stimulate the feelings of self-care, the feelings you just experienced in that meditation, in that breath work, right? And so these can be 5 minutes, 1 minute. I mean, I have a meditation app called Insight Timer. In fact, I'm a teacher on it. And some people have 1 minute guided meditations. Now, I don't know about those, but it's a starting point. It's graceful, gracious, you know. If you really only have 1 minute, I don't think anyone really only has 1 minute though. But it can be a starting point. So, my point is no matter how much time you have, there are activities, things you can do to fill that time. But we're not just self-caring to self-care. I mean, I was just talking to someone who said it feels like she's just checking a box, you know, when she goes for a walk or she does her workout. You know, it's not about the quality time. And that, my dear ones, is what we're talking about tonight. Self-love dates. Dates with yourself. I run a one-on-one program called Become Your Own Soulmate, and I am really passionate about treating yourself as your soulmate. Caring for yourself the way you would care for a partner. And, sorry. I don't know if my video stopped. And so, you know, you can set the mood. I mean, let's just start there, setting the mood. We lit a candle, you know. You can dim the lights. You can put on nice soothing music. Just as you were wooing a partner, woo yourself, because you really, I mean, there's a reason we do these things on dates. They kind of coax our partner into a state of feeling good, being receptive, being vulnerable, and I mean that in the least creepy way possible. Just relating to you better. And it's the same with ourselves. And so often what comes up is shame or judgment. Who am I to light these candles for myself? I mean, sometimes I light like a dozen candles and take a bath. And the old me would be like, why are you wasting all those candles, you know? But now I'm like, oh, it's quality. It feels good, you know? Or I spend, 2 hours making an elaborate meal for myself sometimes. Not all the time, because I would burn out. But sometimes I am like making that lasagna. I am, letting the red wine breathe. And like my husband is at work somewhere. Like it's just me. These are self-love dates. They are so sweet. And it really created a turning point in my relationship to myself because it subconsciously was evidence to myself that I was valuing myself, that I was holding myself worthy, that I was caring for myself, that I was willing to, drop some money or drop some energy or drop some planning on myself. And especially during the pandemic, these have been like a lifeline for me. Taking one night a week, especially because my husband works at a brewery as a server. So in the evenings, sometimes he's also a brewer, but sometimes when he's serving in the evenings, I have the whole evening to myself. And so like on a Friday night, I will light a bunch of candles in this room and do a restorative yoga practice, play some soothing music. I'll follow that up with an oil massage with some essential oils. And I will say some mantras out loud to myself. I will meditate, and then I'll take a bath. And then I am just like so calm and relaxed. And it's so lovely. And I know that that's not accessible for everyone to be able to do that every week or every month or, even just a few times a year. That can feel really impossible. So I want to challenge you tonight to find your edge of what's possible and then, push it a little. See what barriers there are. See what matters to you. Who can you ask for help? How can you make it happen? All these things. need to coexist and come together. So that's like my big, long self-care date. Other little ideas for self-care dates are things like personal growth. Sometimes I take like a course. I'm a huge nerd. So I'm like in an astrology course right now. I'm in a creativity course. Like I love learning. I'm learning the tarot. These things that I had put on the back burner for years, I'm saying like, wait a minute, this is self-care. You know, you can bring your spirituality in, certain books you've been wanting to read that are related to self-care or just broadening your mind. You know, these all count. Maybe you need to expand the boundaries of what you consider self-care for your self-care date. You know, someone told me that they watch Real Housewives in the bathtub, and she was like, I don't know that that's self-care. Maybe I need to bring intention to it. And I love that because you can bring intention to anything and watch how you're relating to yourself. And that makes it self-care. Like, I truly do believe that this definition, it has to be written for yourself and it can change over time. I just love it all so much. So those are some ideas. And if you have questions, let me know in the chat or write to me at ellen@luminousleanings.com if you're watching the replay, or put it in the comments. But let's get started because we've got some fun to be had. So grab 3 pieces of paper. I'm just going to rip these right out of here. 3 pieces of paper, and we're going to fold them in half. Or if you have scissors, you can cut them in half. The idea is to end up with 6 pieces of paper that are like this size, like half a sheet. But we need 6, and I'm just gonna rip. Remember, it's not about the product, it's about the process. And what we're creating, dear ones, are not only your self-care dates, but these are really permission slips to draw from when you need them. They're your lifelines, because sometimes we don't have the energy to plan. We're not in a space where we can say, you know, okay, I'm going to start with the yoga, and then I'm going to do the meditation, and then I'm going to do this. Sometimes we need resources we can draw from, and that's what we're going to give ourselves. How radical. So now you should have 6 pieces of paper about this size. And this is what we're going to write. So I don't know if any of you have heard of Core Desired Feelings, but I am obsessed with Danielle Laporte and her book Desire Map. I also have the planner, the Desire Map planner. But the Core Desired Feelings is what I fell in love with. So she plans her life, her year, her business, her everything on how she wants to feel. And I've talked about it a little bit before here, but I think it's so brilliant. And I know in these sermons in the past, we've started from where you are in your cycle, where the moon is, and how to self-care with the moon cycles or with your menstrual cycle, your energy cycles, the seasons. But tonight I wanted to try something different, which is planning your self-love dates based on how you want to feel. And so you can either write your own core desired feelings, choose one for each piece of paper, or you can do what I'm going to do, which is she has 6 themes that she's noticed from all the thousands and thousands of people that have submitted their core desired feelings to her. So the very first grouping or theme is beauty and sensuality. Beauty and sensuality. This is a group or a theme of core desired feelings that she has seen over time. Do you ever feel like you just want to feel beauty? Maybe you want to feel beautiful, or maybe you want to feel beauty. You want to experience beauty, either through art or through nature or through another person. And sensuality, my goddess, we've talked about it a little bit on these sermons, but sometimes that's how you want to feel. You want to get in that mindset, maybe for yourself or for time with a partner or partners, no judgment. So beauty and sensuality, that's what I'm going to write on my first piece of paper. I'm going to write it really beautifully and big on the front of my piece of paper. But no judgment. However you write it is perfectly good. Beauty and sensuality. So I wrote that on my paper. And now we're gonna color or decorate or write more words to cover the front of our piece of paper. So on the same side where you just wrote beauty and sensuality, take some colors if you have art supplies and color what beauty and sensuality feels like for you. This is a core desired feeling. So we really want to get into the energy of this feeling before we plan our self-love date on the back for when we want to feel beauty and sensuality. So what does it look like for you? I mean, I'm definitely feeling some red up in here. And if you don't have art supplies or you're just not sure about this, you can also take this time to write more core desired feelings related to beauty and sensuality around on your cover. Just make it as pretty as you want. These are for your eyes only. These are your cards to draw from. So I drew some big red lips. What else? Some nature. One of my favorite ways to feel beauty is to go out into nature, take a walk at sunset. Luna loves it when we walk at sunset, which is getting earlier and earlier. Maybe it's listening to some classical music. Something that feels just like extra luxurious, like extra special, but that evokes senses of beauty and sensuality within you. Draw some symbols or just patterns. Whatever feels right to you. So this is mine. Drew the moon and some vines and my red triangle to represent sexuality and some red lips and some hearts. I mean, this could be the self-love day in itself. But on the back, how I would like to structure it, maybe you want to do something different. I'm going to draw 2 lines to separate it into 3 columns. This is sort of the framework I've been working with in my own practice. So I offer it to you. It's just to separate it into 3 columns for mind, body, and spirit. Mind, body, and spirit on the back of my beauty and sensuality card. Mind, body, spirit. 3 columns. And it's really simple, dear one. You're going to list some actions. What will you do to feel beauty and sensuality for your body, for your mind, and for your spirit? Just make some lists. I'll give you a couple minutes here and then we'll move on because there's 5 more cards to make. And if you're not sure, you can write down some other core desired feelings that relate to this for you. Maybe you don't connect with sensuality so much right now. Maybe it's more about the divine feminine. Find the word that works for you. That's really important with core desired feelings. You can always come back to this later, do some research, because we don't have to have all the answers right now. But our intuition, it's there. It's waiting to be tapped into. All right. You can come back to it later. I'll just share briefly what I wrote down, just a few ideas to get me started. To feel beauty and sensuality in the mind, I'm going to consume some art. So that doesn't mean pay for or buy necessarily, but to maybe take a virtual art museum tour, which so many are offering right now during the pandemic, or watching a documentary that I've been really wanting to see. Or I'm going to create some art, which I think also works in the mind to kind of clear and bring that sense of beauty. In the body, this could be a time for beautification. So I put mani-pedi, classic. But when I do it for myself, it feels really good. Massage, self-massage. This might also be a time for body work, for really wanting to feel just that beauty come through. And then dance. Dance is just the number one thing for this for me. And then for the spirit, I wrote my Divine Feminine Oracle cards, which I just got because I think, beauty and sensuality absolutely connect to Divine Feminine. So drawing some oracle cards, maybe journaling on what I drew, or meditating on it. And then I put goddess work. So I'm rereading Goddesses in Every Woman. I just finished a goddess kind of themed training inside a group program I'm running. And so I wanted to revisit that. That would be really excellent for beauty and sensuality. And then moon gazing as well. Just taking a night walk, especially when the moon is full, and just meditating on that full moon energy. I'd love to hear what you wrote. If you're joining us, let us know what your favorite self-love date action from this card of beauty and sensuality is. And we will be moving on. So the second core desired feeling, well, I'm having trouble copying this, that Danielle Laporte talks about is freedom and power. Freedom and power. So what is this for you? Maybe you want to use different words. Freedom actually is my core desired feeling in life. Something I've identified as like pretty much the most important value for me personally. So I love working with freedom. And then power. Yeah, I can definitely see how those go together. And I can kind of, just imagine the energy of these words, freedom and power. So write that on your next page, and you're gonna do your little art therapy magic and just color what it feels like for you, what it looks like for you to be in your freedom and your power. just drew a lightning bolt. Kind of wonky lightning bolt, but a lightning bolt nonetheless. I was actually just doing a really lovely visualization the other day, sort of on core desired values, and we were told to have a memory of how when we felt the way we want to feel, and I had this memory of freedom on my honeymoon, which is kind of funny because my husband was on the beach, and he was actually, it's so awful, he was really, really sick in the DR. But I was having a great time. We didn't know he was sick at the time. This was like when it all went down. But unbeknownst to me of his illness, I'm not a terrible person, I was in the blue, blue ocean. Ugh, just floating on top. And the water was so warm. And the beaches were so beautiful. And it was just, it's just one of those moments, you know, that's just locked in my memory as, yeah, just so beautiful. I felt so free. It felt so good to be there. And so I'm just kind of remembering that as I'm coloring. Maybe there's a memory for you want to evoke. You can write some other words if that helps. I guess I had to draw a bird as well because birds are like the ultimate freedom symbol. Freedom and power. All right. Moving on. So that's my freedom and power. Got my birds, my lightning bolt, my big red exclamation point, and lots of blue sky. On the back again, making your 3 columns: mind, body, and spirit. Remember, this is your freedom and power card to pull when you want to feel free and powerful. So what self-care are you going to do? What actions can you take? These will be the Trojan horses for your freedom and power feeling. What's going to evoke that in you? And if the mind, body, spirit delineations don't help, don't use them. But I like to try to pick one from each for my date, for my self-love date. Make sure that I'm getting some balance there. Just spending a moment here. Freedom and power. maybe something having to do with the intuition here, because it's so in us to be guided. It's such a default system we have. But when I think about freedom and power, I think about my power within, and I think about that intuition that we can draw on in our self-care. So I put intuitive movement for the body. I'm also thinking of something really energetic, like running. Running outside feels so freeing. Or doing some, really fun, sweaty cardio workout that just leaves you feeling so strong and so empowered. Maybe that's what you choose. For the mind, I chose Vipassana Meditation, which is my lineage of insight meditation that I am getting trained in. And again, there's no guidance. It's pure awareness. It makes me feel free. I'm not being guided. And with the spirit, I chose chanting. I love chanting kirtan. It feels really powerful, this group practice. Super powerful. And then praying. When I am really specific, and it could be creating spells or saying intentions aloud. When I'm asking for that help from the spirit realms, from the divine, I feel powerful. And then the DIY rituals as well. Like when I'm creating a ritual, whether it's in the bathtub or with, burning some paper, something I've written down, or just like spur of the moment, like when we adopted our dog Luna, there were so many rituals that came to me to make her feel part of our family. So these big life events also deserve rituals. And anytime that I'm intuiting that and bringing that forth, it feels so powerful for me. And if you don't have, a repertoire of self-care actions or self-love date ideas, definitely message me. I'd love to talk to you about it. I want you to become your own reference book, but we can lean on Grandmother Google in the meantime. We can draw on the practices of others. Let your curiosity guide you for now. Yeah. All right, moving on. The next one is joy and vitality. Joy and vitality are the next core desired feelings, or if there are other words that speak to your heart more loudly. Joy and vitality. And again, of course, evoking the energy of joy and vitality as you decorate it. Joy and vitality. Ah, so beautiful. There is a Divine Feminine Oracle card that is all about this very thing. She represents laughter, the love that's in the laughter and in the joy of life. And I just really connected to that energy when I saw that card today. Sometimes it's the medicine we need. Sometimes it's just how we're naturally feeling. Vitality, life. What's life affirming? What are some life affirming moments you've had? All right, when you're ready, on the back, maybe I'll show you I drew some fireworks, some hearts, and some vines for vitality because I think of green life. Mind, body, spirit. Here we go. Joy and vitality. I think about humor. I love laughing and making people laugh. I love playing. That's a big one here. That playful energy. Write down maybe one idea for each and we'll move on because we only have 10 minutes. And we have 3 more. Mind, body, spirit. My husband and I have been doing crossword puzzles together. That's been like the new COVID thing we've been doing. We were playing video games, we were doing puzzles, we were kind of like cycling through like what's the play that we're gonna do. And now it's crossword puzzles and I'm just loving it. So we kind of mix it up. That's what I think of with joy and vitality. It's like stay limber, stay, varied, because variety is the spice of life. You can absolutely apply that to your self-care. Vitality in the body, oh my goodness. So many active ideas coming to mind. But it's perfectly okay if they're more yin, restful ideas as well that come to mind. You can desire vitality and still be in a very yin space. You don't need to force it with a yang body action on the card you wrote. You have to take all of these things into account and above all, listen to your body, listen to your intuition. They're just some ideas. So I wrote play under the mind, sweat under the body, and laugh under the spirit. So those are just my starting points for joy and vitality. And if you want to keep moving, if I'm not going too fast for you, love and connection is the next one. Love and connection. I can see why they grouped those together. And I'll just go ahead and give you the last 2 since we're running out of time here. Peace and flow. Peace and flow. And then the last one is radiance. I love that word. Radiance and spirit. Maybe I should share with you the link and some of the other ideas. Because again, these are the themes that Danielle Laporte kind of drew out, but that doesn't mean other words, might not work better for you. So I'll just give you some examples and I'll share this link in the Facebook chat. You can also just Google core desired feelings and it's like the first thing that comes up. So under peace and flow, no, let's start with love and connection. She's also got, under love and connection, she's got devoted, adoring, communion, authentic, affection, collaborative, loving, treasure, nourishment, nurtured, mothering, intentional, human, held, beautiful words that all would fall under this. So you can also use her lists to see what speaks to you more. Understood. Oh, that's beautiful. So love and connection. What are some ways you can feel love and connection? Can be for mind, body, spirit, or again, just in general. And it doesn't have to be alone. Self-care can be with others. Don't forget, you don't have to self-care by yourself. Love and connection. So I just wrote, when I'm writing music, I really feel that sense of divine love, connection. Or when I'm doing yoga, or when I'm chanting mantras. These are spiritual, but you can think of many different examples and come back to it. Peace and flow. She has some words like zen, synergy, acceptance, accommodating, aligned, allowing, at home, in tune, in sync, immersed, harmony, flexible, free. Beautiful words. Peace and flow. What on the back are you going to do to feel peace and flow? Oh, I'm writing for body swimming. I miss swimming. It's been so long because of COVID. But when I'm, in that water, right? So whether it's a bath or swimming in like a natural body of water, that's my happy place. Definitely peace and flow. And then thinking about like vinyasa style yoga, right? Or peace, like yoga nidra. I love being guided sometimes. It really can give you a really nurtured sense of comfort and peace to have someone lead you in a yoga nidra. And finally, radiance and spirit. How beautiful, radiance and spirit. Well, for the mind, body, spirit breakdown, pretty much anything could go under spirit to feel spirit, but what makes you feel the most spirit? Spiritual just means connected, sacred. She's got words like transcendent, ablaze, goddess, glowing. What makes you feel these things? If they connect to you, or choose your own words. Radiant. What makes you feel radiant? Well, the first thing that comes to mind is exfoliating. So these can be literal or not. What makes your mind feel radiant? I'm really curious about this one. And don't forget to go back and color the front to help get you in the space. And maybe, you don't finish these tonight, but the next time you want to do your self-love date, you're going to draw one of these based on your core desired feeling, and you're going to finish it. You're just going to sit in that energy of, oh yeah, radiance and spirit, drawing on some memories that you felt those ways, making some lists on the back of how you can reverse engineer it in yourself again. And just remember, this is all a experiment. This is all in the spirit of play and fun. There is no test. The practice is the point. You are worthy, and every moment you can set your intention by asking yourself, how do I want to feel? Sometimes it's so simple. It's just, I do not want to suffer. I just want peace. Peace would be the feeling there. Start to get curious about what your core desired feelings are for the day, for the season of life you're in, and for your life as a whole. And let them guide you. and know you can get in that energy. You can embody it. You can reverse engineer it through self-love and through these really intentional pockets of self-love dates. And if you have any questions, I am all ears. I am here to support you. Book your free 30-minute call with me. We can talk about your experience. Sign up for some coaching sessions with me if you've already had your free call. And I will see you next week for another self-love sermon. Take gentle self-care tonight, dear ones. Sending so much love.